Welcome to Soundtrack with Pastor Isaac. I'm glad to be back again. We have David Corey in the house. I know you know who David Corey is now because those that have been watching, you've been able to meet him, know who he is a little bit more. And so we're going to dive into his college days this time. And we'll talk about that.
Okay, so just before, let me just say, so what happened was, it's amazing. I was, grew up in Portsmouth, Virginia, and I was at Norcom, and Emery Fears, who's the band director at Norfolk State, came by.
Okay.
And he heard me play, and he was like, man.
What were you playing then? What was your instrument?
That was the euphonium, right?
Okay.
And so he offered me a full scholarship. I was like, I don't want to go to school right across the street. I felt like Norfolk was too close.
Right.
And so then the band director from Tennessee State came through, and Edward Graves, and he heard me play, and he offered me a half scholarship. And I was like, Daddy, I think I'm gonna go to Tennessee State. He was like, okay. I didn't think he was gonna go for it, right? Because most people are like, you're gonna go wherever the most money is, right? And he was like, okay, you can go to Norfolk.
But your parents were educators as well, weren't
Yes,
they?
yes.
Yeah.
My father was a French, Spanish, and English teacher. Wow. My mother was a librarian, not a call media specialist, but she was a librarian. And
so they understood the importance of education.
oh my goodness, yes. I almost always had perfect attendance because it was like, you're going to school today.
Right. Because they had to go to school.
Exactly, right? I had to be really, really, really sick. Oh my goodness. So yeah. So anyway, so I got to Tennessee State. By then, I had backslidden. Right? So
From being saved as a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, from being saved as a sophomore in high school. Okay. And so I was there, partying it up, doing everything I was big and bad enough to do. And it was, I was doing well in my classes, but it was just so many of them. And then my parents were like, okay, we gave you money for 4 years. We're not giving you any more money. Okay. And I was like, I got to go home. Okay. So I came back home, and I worked for like a year, and then I transferred my credits to Norfolk State, and that's where I finished. So I was working full-time, working my way through school, and working full-time, and it was amazing. That was when I met my wife. Okay. I met her. Matter of fact,
So she was at Norfolk?
She was at Livingstone College. Okay. We met in the CIAA. They have what is called the Intercollegiate Music Association, which is basically just like all city band or all county band. Right. They would get representatives from every school in the CIAA. They would get together. They formed a choir. They formed a band. We would come on Friday, just like district band would come on Friday, and then the concert would be on Sunday. Okay. And so I was at.
But this is the college level.
Yeah, this is college level, right? So we're at Livingstone College, Salisbury, North Carolina, and the band was about 128 kids. The choir was like about 300 voices. It was it was humongous. And so when we were, it's like 500 of us about. So when we were in line at the Student Union building waiting to eat, I was like, I'm not sitting in this line. So I went into Student Union building. I was like, let me see if I get me some phone numbers while I'm here.
I may have to edit some of this out.
Can we be real for a minute? It's like, okay. So and then what happened was I got caught up and the line closed.
Oh, the
lunch line closed. So what I did was, me being my bold and outgoing self, I just walked into the kitchen. I walked to the kitchen.
That sounds like David.
I walked into the kitchen because I will get my groceries. Okay, I'm just telling you, I was hungry. So and this pretty chocolate girl in this red dress. She said, "Can I help you?" I said, "I'm in the IMA band, and I missed the lunch line. If I could just get something to eat, if you could box it up to go or something." Okay. And she was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Wow, nice legs." So that was Sonia.
Right. Oh, she worked in there.
She worked. That was her.
Student.
That was her. What you call it? When you work a job that helps you with your tuition. Right. Work study.
Work study.
That was her work study job. Right. So then on Sunday was time for the concert. The band was going up to the balcony, and the choir was coming down. Guess what? She was in the IMA choir. I was like, Sonia.
Oh, you hadn't even seen her?
Yeah, I hadn't seen her until after we that was like Saturday. So this was Sunday. Okay. And I was like, Sonia. She was impressed that I remember her name.
Right.
So I was like, hey. So after the concert was over, I was like, hey, good to meet you. You know, we exchanged numbers and she did. You know, back in the day, this was when long distance was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She was like, you can call me. I was like, you can call me collect.
What?
And she did. Lord have mercy, my phone bill was $300, which ain't nothing nowadays. But back then, that was humongous, right? And by about the fifth conversation, I said, this is the one I want to marry. This is the one.
Let's segue off to that for a second. How long have y'all been married?
Woo! It's 2022. It'll be 32 years in June.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Mine will be 34. And see, there aren't very many people that are still married to the spouse that God gave them.
Yes.
That's a testimony right there.
Yes.
That's for another segment. But go ahead and continue.
We don't have enough minutes for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny because that was like 1988.
Okay.
And then we got married at 90. I didn't graduate from college, undergrad, until 92.
Oh, okay.
So when I was at graduation, Crystal was on Mama's lap.
Wow.
Okay. So Crystal was at my graduation. That's my oldest daughter,
Right.
in case y'all don't know.
Maybe you'll meet her one day.
Yeah, right. And it was just amazing how God orchestrated all of that, right?
Right.
So I'm working and I'm going to school. I don't have enough money, so you have after school starts, you have a couple of weeks before the last days for dropping Ada over, and then
Right.
you whatever you got. And I was like, I don't have this money, and I'm like, Lord. By this time, I'm saved again, right? Okay. So I'm back in the fold, right? And so I'm like, Lord, I don't have this money. So my parents said they weren't gonna give me any money, right? My mother lives in London. She comes back home the night before the last day of late registration and says, here. It just gives me the money, exactly the amount of money I need to pay for tuition.
That's God. Won't he do it?
It was amazing. Wow. And so I got it in, and it was days like when Sonya would say, why are you still going? I'm student teaching. I'm putting on my shirt and tie every day, still going and still showing up. I'm still going to classes because I told the teacher I'm going to be registering late, but I'm still. Right. And she was like, why are you still doing that? And every time God came through, he ordered my steps. And it's just amazing. Graduated. As soon as I graduated, I got a job.
Good.
That's when I was teaching in Pennsylvania for 7 years. We talked about that.
God is faithful, but you did your part.
Yes.
That took faith to go when you didn't think, oh man, I may not get the money. But something in you said, go.
Yes.
It's just like Abraham. God said, go. He couldn't see the God that was speaking to him, but he heard the voice.
Exactly. And as I look back on it now, I didn't realize I was doing it then. Mm-hmm. But that's what walking by faith is. You take a step. You don't know what the next step is because God doesn't tell you the end from the beginning.
Right.
He just says, do this. You do it. Get up in the morning, go to class. I'll get up, I go to class. I do, right. Our thing, So you do it, and as you do that, he's working things out. Right. He's already worked it out. He knows the plan. He knows the end from the beginning, but he's working it out as you do what you're supposed to do. Because if you're in the place where you're supposed to be, those things can happen. Right. You can see people, running people. I got scholarships. When I was student teaching, when you're student teaching, you're not on campus.
Okay.
I got scholarships from the head of the department, from the music department, and I'm like, I haven't been on campus in 2 semesters. Wow. How is he picking me for the scholarship?
Favor. That was God.
He hasn't seen me on the door, right? It was just an amazing thing how God worked it out, and I tell you, y'all, if you just trust Him and walk, He will work it out in you, and you'll be amazed.
Right. You'll
be amazed at what happens. So I just encourage everybody, y'all. I'm looking at you. You in there somewhere. but yeah, just keep it up, y'all. You gotta. It's something about being faithful.
Right.
And I'm not bragging on myself, but
you bragging on Him. You said trust in the Lord with all your heart. Yes. Lean not to your own understanding.
It makes it causes you to be consistent, and that's what faithfulness is.
And that's that in all your ways acknowledge Him.
Yeah.
And He will what?
He will direct your path. I promise you. He has not failed me. And it's amazing. It's amazing how things have worked out. And now all my children are grown. They love the Lord.
Right. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, I mean,
we can, but that's enough right there.
Yeah, I don't have $1 billion. I was telling especially like when those kids will come back to talk to me. I'm like, look, y'all, I don't make a lot of money because they think you're rich when you when you're in high school.
Right.
They think you're rich, but then when they go out and get a job, when they come back from college, and I say, look, y'all, I don't make a lot of money. I said, all my friends that didn't go into education, all making six figures. They got all the, they ain't not hurting for anything. But me, I'm not even close to that. But it's so rewarding.
You mentioned that a couple of episodes back. It is a fulfillment that can't be understood,
Right.
except if you're in it, you get it.
Yes.
know.
Yes. It is amazing. It's worth more than money. It is.
Oh yeah.
When you know where you are because God has placed you there, He's planted you there. You feel like you're productive, you're fruitful.
Yes.
Then you feel that that satisfaction
Yes.
that money can't bring. Look at all the people that's doing all kind of crazy stuff, and they got the money.
Yes.
And you look at them going, why in the world?
Because money does not
They
mean
make it past
fulfillment.
6 figures.
Yeah, that does not mean fulfillment. And
Right.
it's an amazing thing. There are people that have all the material wealth, but
Right.
empty inside. Another reason when people ask me why I'm so happy, you know, I can tell them about the Lord, but I can also say I'm blessed enough to be able to do what I love to do for a living.
Right.
I love to teach music. I love to make music.
Right.
So I get to do that, and I get paid for it. I was at a commencement one time, and I heard this is the most impactful thing I ever heard a commencement speaker say after all the graduations I've been to in 30 years, in about 30
You've
years.
been to some.
Is he said, find something you love to do so much that you would do it for free,
Okay.
but be so good at it that people want to pay you to do it.
Right.
And I was like, wow. Talk about walking his wheel and having him guide your steps. That's what happens.
Right.
And you'll get to that point, if you just trust and just go ahead and take that step. It only takes one step, and he meets you there. And you take another step. It ain't but one step at a time.
Right.
And I think other people, because we want to know the end from the beginning, and then sometimes as men we say, they tell us you got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. No, you don't. That's why God tells us to put on the armor of God, but sometimes, and also in the Word of God, He tells us to put off some things.
Okay.
He says, put off anger, put off all these things that are unfruitful and unchristlike.
Right.
And so we have to. It's a give and take. We put on all the armor of God, but we also got to put off the stuff from the world, the habits that we've learned.
And you know
from
why?
growing up.
As you said before, we are the ambassadors that people are watching.
That's it.
And if they see you taking this stuff off, they think, oh, maybe I need to as well.
Right.
Or if they see you keeping it on, then they may think it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not. And we're again out of time.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So I want you to give your last remarks.
Oh well, look, y'all. Let me tell you. It all boils down to this. It's not about religion. If you notice, we're not quoting a lot of scriptures.
Right.
It's all about relationship, y'all.
Exactly.
It's about having a relationship with the Heavenly Father, and you just gotta trust Him, and He will do the rest. You gotta concentrate and focus on Him. We were on family prayer this morning, and the verse for the day was Joshua 1:8. He said, "These words shall not come out of your mouth, but you shall meditate on them day and night, so that you can do what is pleasing and have good success."
Right.
It's pleasing to God, not to what you want to do.
Exactly.
And so that's what you do, and as you do that, He will set you up to be successful. I don't mean a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a Ferrari parked outside. Right. Okay, I got 2016 Hyundai Sonata that burns more oil than gas. Okay, but success is, and I think it's nothing we kind of touched on. It's not about how much money you make; it's how fulfilled you are, especially when you know you're doing what God called you to do.
Right.
So get on out there and just do it.
All right.
It's that simple.
God bless you, brother. We'll see you next time.